Dude, the Batman. It's got strong animation, a great theme song, just a neat way to depict a lot of classic characters. The Penguin is done like super interestingly, and his twins, they're super cool looking with like the geisha thing. It was like in that first appearance when he's like swinging from the branches and like shooting around back and forth. It's like super awesome, and got ya. Yeah, it's because I was talking about the Batman, the cartoon from like '04 or whatever. It's just funny that they share the same name. If I'm being real honest, I'm not the funny one. I'll shut up. Anyways, also a brave choice to wear red while also making my background red. I also had a Bucky. I think you can kind of see him. Hi. All these things are two totally separate things. I do love the Batman. I've been mad, like obsessed with him since like a little kid. I mean, everyone is really like enjoying Batman. It's kind of like the bare minimum of liking anything. Like it dominates so much of pop culture. Who honestly doesn't just love Batman? I don't know. He's somehow gotten himself like the forefront of like pop culture, like pretty consistently. I mean, give or take. He was like about to like get his Calmet canceled before the '60s show. So, anyways, the Batman was kind of shit on back in the day, but now I think it has a kind of a following. But real talk, it's a solid cartoon. Just put it on in the background if you want something fun. It's kind of fast action. It's a pretty good story. It's got a lot of interesting takes on
Freeze.
different like classic characters from Batman. The animation is just really on point. It has some great action figures. I've been wanting to get more of those, to be fair. They're super legit. But anyway, sorry. Super distracted. But also as a kid, I used to carry around this like eyewitness book around. I'll try and find it if I can. B-roll here or a picture of it here. One of the two. So I could study Batman. It was cool. It was really dumb. Really big indicator of why I came out really dumb. Anyways, all the gags aside though, I did really like the Batman. I thought it was pretty awesome. I like a ton of it. Generally, I do have some big grumps. Like, I don't like the ending, and some of the pacing I thought was really just awkward or like a little stupid for what it was doing. So before we start though, like heads up, I have a notice that I'm a pretty stupid overanalyzer, and I've been trying to like fucking kill that off in my brain, cause like, I mean that shit doesn't exist, you know. Like we had a good conversation about it. I think I really realized I'm just overdoing it. There's no such thing as like media language or whatever. So I try not to let that too much of that flood into my head. So nothing here is gonna be like groundbreaking or like, whoa, this guy's got some thoughts. It's gonna be pretty normal stuff that we all kind of picked up on while we were watching the movie. So nothing elaborate or fancy or really cool is gonna come up here, other than just like, you know, us chit chatting about a movie that I liked, and you know, y'all have either differing opinions or also liked. Either way, it's gonna be fun to talk to y'all about it because, you know, you're my friends. Anyways. You can feel this movie's 3 hours long. I think it could have been cut out a bit to help with that. Some of the scenes seem like they repeat some of the same info that like we literally just saw. Some of the dialogue was just kind of repeating stuff that we picked up on instead of adding on to the situation or the feelings and our emotions that were being portrayed to us. I think I'd use like my big example of it is like the Alfred Hospital moment. They resolve the Falcone thing like right beforehand and have him like explain to Bruce what happened. To then go to the Alfred scene where they do the exact same thing but just tell him, well, your father didn't want to have him murdered. You know, like you could have cut a little bit of that out, right? Like just shave off the first part of the explanation. Give us a little bit. We understood that Batman and Bruce Wayne felt really important to Alfred. I mean, we saw him grump at him in the beginning, but then the Barry scene where they start doing the cipher. And then what this will tie into something I liked a lot later on. But they have them like repeat everything constantly, like the way they feel and their emotions. I feel like you could have saved like 1 or 2 minutes right there. And there's a lot of little spots that you could shave off like a minute or two here and there. In a movie that I think could really help from having been shaved off by a couple of minutes. A lot of spots like there where you could guarantee maybe gain 5 to 7 minutes off the end of the film. Which isn't much, but like whenever your movie's like this long, you know, it can really... That really adds up, you know? Like, you can feel the difference between a movie ending 15 minutes earlier than it not. So, not a big deal. And I'll talk about the ending stuff later, because that's also where I think you saved a lot of time. And also my hand's red. Whoa, everything's red. Zoe Kravitz, she did good. So I'm not like gonna try and smear her or anything, but like, she's never been an actress I've been very impressed with in general.
What? No.
She's very pretty, and I don't think she's a bad actress. I just think she's not a good actress.
What?
So she did do better than I was expecting here, but like that's still like she was pretty flat.
What?
Most of the time, or delivered it in a very not great way.
What?
She down part of the movie. Just gonna have to put it out there. Her martial arts was really good. I think she did really good there, and she looked cool. She looked great. You know, like I think she played the part well. Just, you know, I think everyone else did a little bit better. Considering I don't like the guy who played Alfred, I usually think he's a terrible over actor that I just don't enjoy. So, and I think even he did okay. Not a big one, just a little nug. All right, this is actually legitimate. I didn't like this at all. I thought this was like one. Added on to the end of the movie, which it didn't need to, and also just thought it was like super cringe. That Joker scene was dumb. I think Zach suggested that they could have put that as maybe been the stinger of the movie, and it would have been better. 'Cause a lot of people didn't like the stinger at our theater when I saw it with Zach and Kyle. Everyone liked it when I saw it with my mom. I saw them back to back. I saw them 2 days in a row. I love seeing movies with my mom, so that was fun. Anyways. It just would have felt better there, and that would have saved another 3 or 4 minutes off the runtime instantly, right? Like, just get rid of that scene, and then that's as a stinger. You can choose to stay or leave if you want, depending on how you are feeling. And I think that would have been a great way to save it, because like that, right when he goes, next moment, you're a clown, and then they laugh like freaking ding-dongs for 27 hours. Yeah, like, we get it. The Joker, it just felt like really stupid. And again, you know, I always try to put the caveat in a lot of these. Sometimes, like, with some of the stuff with, like, the multiverse stuff and things like that, I'm a little burnt out on them. But again, I've been reading comics, and all this stuff happened 10-ish years ago. That, like, now I'm kind of like I'm on the second wind of it, where I'm just like, okay, I'm a little burnt out. The Joker's kind of the same vibe. I'm just kind of burnt out on the Joker. We just came off The Man That Laughed and all the metal stuff, and then the one of the big arcs before that was, you know, where he was cutting his face off. Oh, excuse me, I just burped. That was disgusting. Redo because of gross, where the Joker was like cutting the face off of everybody, and it's been a lot of that. So, you know, and it's fine. It just felt really dumb. I didn't like that scene. It kind of made the Riddler look stupid, which I think they did a good job of him being the Riddler. This isn't a strong complaint. This is a big complaint. The Joker part, not the part about the Riddler, because it didn't take away from the Riddler. The Joker scene in general, though, I really think they could have just cut that out or made it the stinger. Or like today, they released that like deleted scene of the Joker, which is like, I don't care. I just don't care.
Here we go!
One of the last real big, like, I have a honest to God complaint. I don't like where it ended. I don't understand how it didn't end with a scene of him looking up at the helicopter. Like, thematically, it just seemed to fit with all the light coding and, like, the starting monologue being about him journaling, kind of putting down the notes of the case for the night-ish. So now that we have this second monologue, this is him wrapping up the case that he just went through and kind of talking about his Batman experiment, putting a nice little bow and kind of just saying what he was feeling, which, you know, it was really just like culminating everything that just happened in the last scene with them like jumping in the water and all that stuff, which we'll talk about that a little bit later because I think that I'm going to talk about the light coding because I thought it was really cool. But it had it there just in case you couldn't put that together. But also that monologue wrapped up into the beginning of the movie, which wrapped up here. And I don't know why that wasn't where they ended it, because it ended with him in the light. Like, he was... It's just like, it was such a symbolic vibe, and like, it made a big through line in the movie that I don't know why that's not where they ended it. And not to say, I don't think the final Catwoman scene was bad. I like that talk with Catwoman. I think it was cool. I just think, you know... because it gives it like the path he took kind of thing, you know. But I feel like we got all of that through just inference of the movie. You know, Catwoman's supposed to be like a stray cat, and she didn't necessarily get her like closure really, you know. So like her kind of darting would have been thematically fine, you know. It'd been something the Batman could have figured out. But I just feel like that scene, although it isn't a bad scene in any regard, it just. And it kept the light going, which is nice, but like it just feels like it would have been a better end to end on the helicopter scene. Again, and this would also save another, you know, 10-15 minutes doing it. Taking out that and the Joker scene. Bam, the movie's at 2:45 instead of 3 minutes. I think you would really feel that 15 minutes. And it would have just made the movie just feel like a big upgrade. You know, because, like, I love sitting through long shit, you know? That's a lot of my YouTube is just, like, really overly long, like, retrospectives of stuff that, like, sometimes not even stuff I like. I just like hearing anybody talk about something they enjoy, so I'm, like, willing to sit for, like, 5 hours and listen to someone talk about something. And even I was feeling it, like, by the end of it, I was getting a little tired. And not... I hear y'all saying... But Thomas, Mr. Ahoy Boy that we have here, you saw it 2 days in a row. That's why you felt that way. I felt that way on the first go and also on the second one. Before, like, I get it. I would think that would have been a fair bring it up. Because, yeah, if you see a movie twice in one day, you can't really, like, grump about it feeling long because you literally just watched it a 3-hour movie twice in a row. But yeah, I felt that way in the first go when I saw it with my mom, and I also felt it again on the second one. And I mean, those are my only real big grumps. Just some pacing stuff, a little bit of like some of the character. Even I did ditch on Zoe Kravitz. I love Alfred in this, and I think some of the other people like Gordon was a little hammy, but it was fine. And because everyone was a little hammy, because you know. This movie. That's it. Let's get to the good nugs, okay? I got a lot to say. I got some stuff to say. None of it matters, and it's not good stuff. But like I got things in my noggin. Worthless things, but things nonetheless. This movie, I think, is oozing with fucking vibes, man. Like, I love Batman and Batman Returns. And what I think those do really well is they just have a vibe, they have an aesthetic, they have a look. A lot of Tim Burton kind of has a look to it. But these, like, really have that, and that's really what sets those apart. They have style, they have a lot of vibe. They give you, like, a deeper understanding of what it is through everything. Like, Catwoman has that, like, that sign that says, like, they're here or whatever. But then she writes hell here with it. Like, and it's just so we have a neon sign that says hell here when Catwoman leaves and Batman Returns. Just everything about it, like, overly Art Deco and Gothic. Like, those movies ooze atmosphere. And I think this one follows that to a fucking T. It's like almost overbearing with how much that it just is vomiting its atmosphere on you. The motorcycles to just like the limited locations that they had, it really gets you like claustrophobically like close to everyone in the environments. That like red tone they like Vaselined all over everything. It's just like, I really like that. This movie is just oozing with that atmosphere, and I'm really happy they went with that. Okay, this kind of bleeds into the last point of like the vibes and all that crap, or the atmosphere. And if I was doing this a little bit better, and I'd have put out my little green screen board I've made for stuff, so I can do my. I have this great idea. Anyways, whatever. That's Ryan talking. I don't care. But the fucking costumes, and like just the look of like all the characters, like give or take, I guess, because Falcone kind of looks like he's like straight up out of an Adam Sandler movie. But that's fine, because I love the bat suit, the tactical boots. They look so wonderfully like a goth kid, like Bruce grew up like listening to some Off Minor. And just got like really into it. The layering of the armor elements, like looking kind of realistic, but they stayed to the realm of just looking cool. And that pouch on his leg. I love that thing. It makes his like really unique silhouette, but it also seems practical. It seems like something it would need to have on it, but it just builds a silhouette on it that's just really great. The bat symbol looked awesome, but it was also the batarang, and like when he like and used it as a knife and like I was just like that killed me. I was really happy. Excuse me. The grappling hook was like shooting off of his wrist so he could grab it. Amazing. It looked like it gave him like that brooding look. The way the cape set on him, I think Kyle was talking, he really liked that. Like the way it set on him was just really cool. The suit looks so amazing. I'm in love with it.
Creamy ranch, sweet and sour, spicy buffalo, tangy barbecue. Each McNugget, a chance to diversify your sauce portfolio. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Here's just some quick stuff I liked real fast. Here's some of the sauces, The Batmobile is the best. The whole scene was amazing. I love the whole chase. I love the reveal of it. I like the sound design of how it sounded. Everything about the Batmobile, amazing. The dry wit, you know, Batman's kind of like a little goofer in this show and the comics. It's not funny. He just has like a little bit of a, you know, he's Batman. He has a little wit to him, and they kept that with the got a lot of cats. And then when they show the guy's face that got eaten by the rats to the penguin, he's like, "Ah, what are you showing me?" I lost it. That was hilarious. Oh, I like that they brought back Dory. That was a weird bring back from the '60s show. I think they technically just put her in there to make it seem like that wasn't like the gag back then was that Batman Robin were gay. I think they just put Dory in there to make it seem like they weren't. I don't know how that worked, but she was there. It was fine. Oh, another saucy here. I loved all the nods to, like, David Muschicelli. I don't know how to say his name. I'll be honest with you. His art. Because it had, like, huge year 1, year 2 vibes. With a little bit of Long Halloween in there. And I love that they have a lot of stuff to reference his art. You know, like the Catwoman suit when she's, like, all cool looking. Like, they have a lot of little stuff that, like, really, like, harkens to that. A lot of the little references I thought were really cool. They weren't, like, too in your face or anything. They're just, like, little things that, like, you can go, ooh, neat. But also kind of, like, you know, paying respect kind of way. I'm not going to go through all that crap. That's, like, you know, fucking, y'all have YouTube if y'all want to look them up. And plus, I haven't confirmed any of them. So it would just be me being fucking dumb in the head, because I'm pretty stupid. I need to stop overthinking shit like that. This is like the big one. I thought the compositions were all really great. I don't want to say like cinematography. I'm not trying to get into any of that because like I'm a dum-dum. But a lot of the compositions and the like for the shots were really cool. I love all those like out of focus blurry shots where they would like pull things into focus that we were supposed to really like kind of cue in that this may be a clue, or just like parts of action would like come out of like the out of focus frame. I thought that was like really cute. The soundtrack was super great. Like that "Nobody Like You" song nailed the 2000s and like boy band with like a little bit of BTS modern flair. But really that Sonic the Hedgehog ass song that the Ludwig Garrison, I think that's his name, made is legit and an amazing song. I'm gonna buy the soundtrack. It was got you again. That's the other movie we watched this weekend. Watch Turning Red. Really great. Soundtrack's amazing. I'm sorry. I don't know why I keep doing that. I'm not the funny person. I don't even like funny things. I'm not a funny human. I'm a humorless hack of a being. Anyways, I think the soundtrack to this though was also really well put together. It worked really well with the sound design of the movie and everything. The way they filled out the soundtrack, the more into the case it got. They kind of pulled up different versions of the main theme when it had more parts going on to it, and then to pull it away a little bit whenever like you were starting getting a little disjointed from being fully like when you started losing sight of the case a little bit, the main theme of the Batman theme starts like pulling back on itself. Amazing. I mean, it's so golden. All the droning notes, the melding of the different themes of the characters together when they were on screen. That's the golden nug right here, you know? It's just... It's so good. The Occentenio? What's it called? I think that's called the Occentenio? Oh, let's go to the computer.
Ostinato.
And the main theme, I think, is amazing. Like, I just love when they do that shit, when it's like a repeated thing. You know, it's not so much a motif, but like it's like just constant, like a repeat, and it does it so well in here. It's almost like overbearing, like 90% of the time. That's the music writing that's just so above me. I'm so impressively, it's amazing. Having the Riddlers have like the Ave Maria kind of worked into it a little bit. Catwoman was like super femme fatale, like noirish, you know. All these like big piano lines and that upright bass going on in it. Really nailed all the motifs, honestly. Oh, I can actually show this part because I think it's in the trailer. But in the first trailer, the way that they did it with the Batmobile. And he's coming up. Big sauce duck right there. I mean, this soundtrack bringing in that TikTok sound when the Catwoman was going to go kill Falcone. Like, fighting Catwoman was this like time bomb. Catwoman was like this like time bomb, right? Batman's trying to defuse. He wants to get there before she kills him, but he also needs to get there and just like make sure the scene's okay. It's counting down, and the theme coming in super heavy in between some of those bits. The Batman theme with a oh, really great. Then you get these like shrill like strings come through, all of that. Really amazing, really impressive. It really brought the tension of that scene together. Also just being a really good piece of music in general. Then they would sprinkle that, like, the sonata that they wrote. Like, they would sprinkle that in here and there for slower bits. I really cannot talk enough about this soundtrack. I don't want this to be too long, but I love the soundtrack. I've listened to the Batman theme a couple times. I really, again, I'm a sucker for, like, repeated stuff. And the way they do it here is just really, 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 really well done. The Nirvana song was a little on the nose, but I liked it, you know. I think he would have been more of an off minor kind of guy, you know. But like, it fit. I'm not gonna like complain. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun little addition, but it was a little funny. I'm gonna stop there because I think I could literally go on for like 40 minutes on the soundtrack and what like all the individual tracks I liked a lot. But I really thought the soundtrack was great. My favorite part of the movie. No surprise, I'm a fucking music ding dong. I forget that sometimes, but until I do something like this where I like get really excited about hearing music and stuff, and then I remember like, oh, I really do like this stuff. But then I'm just so dumb, and there's no point. And yeah, but I did really like the soundtrack. Great. Get the soundtrack and just listen to the themes on their own. That's me shooting nuggets. Anyways, okay, sorry. The lighting. What a fun way of showing where the Batman is in his growth as Batman. Like, they would show him talking to Gordon in the light, but the big one of him telling Gordon not to get himself killed by pressuring the bad cops. That's like a real Batman moment, right? Like, suddenly it's about more than just bam, 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 beating people up. He really wanted Gordon to be safe, and they do that, and like, it's in the bright of day. It's like at dawn. He really doesn't want Gordon to get hurt. He's thinking forward about the people in his life. Catwoman, obviously, it's at nighttime when she's robbing the mayor's house. Move into it. He has like a sunset or sunrise scene with Catwoman because he's learning who she is. He's opening up. He's noticing there's more to this stuff than meets what he thought was the process of what he needed to do to save the city. But he's opening up. He's starting to trust her, and it's in like a sunset/sunrise. I can't remember exactly, but you know, it has that orangish glow. But everything's well lit. But then you jump over to the final scenes with her. It's in the light again, right? Like suddenly the scenes are brightly lit. She's talking to her. He's talking with her in the daylight, assumingly, you know, like as much daylight as this movie gets. But like, it's bright. It's well seen. There's nothing hidden. It was just perfect. And I think that's really cool using that because, like, you know, he's not the Batman we know at this, like, in the beginning of this movie, he's a Batman. You know, that's why I think you get a lot of that year one vibes from that. Like, he is learning that, like, just beating the shit out of people isn't, like, really... That's not the Batman that, like, is in pop culture that can solve anything. That's not the world's greatest detective at all. That's just man beating the shit out of people at night. And I think that's beautiful. And that's one of my big grumps is it not ending on that final scene of him looking up while it's brightly lit, because you know it's the culmination of all the stuff that he had learned, right? There's that scene where like the Riddler goon says that he is vengeance, and the Batman's like, "Oh, I'm doing this wrong," and then he jumps into the water, cutting the power line to that light that was gonna hit, because he knows he needs to save the people, right? He jumps in, he cuts the lights, he lights a flare to light everything up, to bring himself out of the shadows to go help the people. And he guides the people of Gotham to safety through light, right? Like, it's juxtaposed to the very beginning when he comes out and he saves that man and he just clobbers the living shit out of those people. He comes out of the shadows and then he just brutally beats everyone. Not saying it's bad, because you know he doesn't beat the kid that was not aggressing, but that the civilian there is like scared. He's saying, "Don't hurt me," you know. And Batman's in shadow, looking down. He's looking down in the shadows at this man, asking him not to be hurt, because he's just scaring everyone. He's not scaring just the bad element of Gotham, right? And that's just feeding people like the Riddler. It's feeding everyone. It's making it to where, you know, you have that sudden moment of like Batman kind of realizes he's not helping. That his ideals are a little off. And I don't know why they wouldn't end on that, because like that was beautiful. Because the final scene, he's on top of the rooftop. It's broad daylight. He's helping people move around. He's helping injured people. He puts that girl, carries her to the stretcher, puts her down. She's holding onto his arm to be like, "Is this safe? Am I going to be okay?" It's like such... And then he's looking up at the helicopter while the lady trusted him in the safety, in the light. Batman realizing he needs to be more than just fear. He needs to be everything. He needs to be a hope to Gotham while being fear, like striking fear into the hearts of villains. And it's so good, and I love that. When he actually tries to save someone, it's the DA, and he comes out in broad daylight to stop the bomb, right? Like, he tries to help that. It's like, it's so light-coded that it really frustrates me that they didn't just end it right there. Does it ruin the movie? No. I still think that, like, the movie came off fine. I really did enjoy it. I'll probably watch it again. I liked that, and I thought it would be really cool if it ended, because it's that through line, right? Like, you have a good through line of like understanding of this character, and so it's a little frustrating that they would kind of goof that, because I'm not against like an epilogue. You know, the Catwoman scene could arguably be seen as an epilogue, and maybe if it was just the Catwoman scene, I wouldn't be as like grumpy. But you sit through that stupid ass Joker scene with this just fucking pandering and terrible and just gross. It's just not a good scene. It's terrible. It's terrible and pandering, and I don't like it. And then you go into like the Catwoman, and so maybe if it was just the Catwoman, I would be a little less grumpy. Because, you know, arguably that would be, you know, we had the through line and the Catwoman is the epilogue. But like the Catwoman's stuff isn't the epilogue. It's like, oh, ugh. A little frustrating. But again, I'm an idiot and I'm overthinking this dumb shit. None of that's probably true. It's just a happenstance. It's just a movie. But if it is, I like it. Well, I'll just say I like it right now, but like, you know, it's...
It's time for the moment you've been waiting for. Da, 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 Preparing the Krabby Patty.
Last little bit here. I really did love this movie. Because I think it is the closest thing to having, like, what I perceive Batman as. I think I've talked about this before, where I think, like, there's, like, two worlds of, like, comic stuff. Like, there's what people think comic stuff is. Oh, I'm memeing. Don't get that. Like, what people think comics are. When I think comics. So, like, when I think of, like, Superman, I know, like, the trope is to say, oh, well, Superman movie suck because he's so powerful. But, like, when I think of Superman, I think of, like, adversity and, like, a man trying to be better than himself, and, like, this allegory for immigration and, like, all that kind of stuff. And, like, I think, and most people just see Superman as, like, all powerful, beat him up, goody boy. And I'm like, well, you know, but I'm not faulting that, right? Like, this isn't I'm so smart and dumb boy. It's a medium I've partaked in and other people haven't. It's not a higher or lower thing, you know, it's just a thing. It's just a. But I always picture Batman. I always notice that, like, I have a different perception of Batman than the casual audience. I don't even want to say casual audience, because I think, you know, you can love Batman and only love the movies. And I think that's like a 1000% solid way of ingesting Batman stuff. But I always, like, realize, like, there's what I think of when I think of Batman, and it's like this, like, a good fighter, but, like, you know, there's, like, the detective stuff, and it's a lot of slow vibes, a lot of brooding and edge that I just love to get. I think it's always missing some of that in some of the movies. You get, like, a lot of, like, the punching and the fighting. He's a great adversary to everybody. And, like, it's real almost, like, about the villains, you know? It's like, how is the villain going to do in this movie? What is the villain doing? And Batman's almost like a side part of that. Where I think this was just, like, a really good grasp of showing how the Riddler and the Batman were, like, in the same headspace, showing their little similarities throughout the movie. Like, so was it just like a bombardment of, like, oh, guess what? They were both journaling. The easy one is, like, you know, they're both wearing masks and the orphan stuff. Like, Bruce didn't need to write his clues on the floor, right? But it's like, that's just a visual narrative for us to see, and, like, a visual narrative device, you know, for us to see. He wrote on the floor to finally piece everything together, like this, like, map. The Riddler also pieced the giant floor together on his map, or map on his floor. You know, like, those two things, like, it's just a narrative device for us. And I thought that was great, because, like, it wasn't just solely focused on, like, the Riddler. Or I think, like, I don't like combative reviews, real talk. I'm not bringing these up to demean the Nolan movies or the Burton movies. But a lot of times, sometimes it's about the villain, and Batman is, like, just our vessel to see, like, how these villains work, and then it's fun to see Batman win. Where I think this one really gave, like, precedence to, like, Batman and the Riddler. You know, everyone got their piece in the pie. Almost like reading, like, the little comic side stories, you know, like I just got done reading Fear State, which is really good. And, like, you know, like, you have the Miracle Molly, and then Batman, and I Am the Batman. You know, like, have all the little stories that come together. Which, to be fair, in this case, they kind of flubbed the ending of Fear State. Spoiler, but if you don't trust the reading order, because technically they reveal the end in Harley Quinn instead of the final, so you kind of already know it's fine though. I really liked Fear State. I think some people didn't, but I really enjoyed it. Anyways, sorry, tangent. But, like, this gave credence to everybody, and I thought that was really cool. You know, like, a fun little way of actually getting Batman in the movie. I can't say if this is my favorite Batman movie. I think right now it feels like that, but, you know, recency bias. I literally just watched it twice, and I'm really hyped on it. So I didn't want to give it some time. I do. It's hard to beat Batman Returns. That was one of my favorite movies as a kid. You know, arguably, that is what got me into Batman. You know, like, well, I think. It's too far back. It's like that age where, like, it all kind of blurs together, you know. But Batman Returns would definitely be, like, up there. It'd be Batman Returns in the comics. I got babysit at the comic shop, like. But it's really far back. But that and the animated series have been, like, So it'd be really hard to pick right now. But like I didn't need to sit on it. But I really think it has continuing to like maybe beat out Batman Returns. I don't know yet. Well, we'll see. But I did really like it. Let that be. So, Ryan, Zach, Kyle, boys, all the other boys in the other chats. Love to know what y'all think. Send them up in Discord. You don't have to make a video. I just do that because I'm, you know, a cripple. Typing sucks. Oh, and it's fun to make videos and I have nothing to do in my time, so. But I want to know what y'all think. Also, Drink Monster. Okay, I'm done. Okay, bye. Oh, what? I'm not done? This is my Sprite at the end. To be fair to the Catwoman epilogue and my epilogue, I don't dislike the scene. I think I already told you that. It's fine. It just felt redundant. And kind of right now we were like, well, didn't he already say everything? Didn't we already get his vibe? Can I go read my Sonic the Hedgehog comics? Right? Like, you see what I mean? Yeah, like, it's whatever. This isn't bad, and I'm excited to y'all stick around. But, you know, feels a little off. But it's okay. Like the movie. Wanna hear what y'all have to say. Miss you, Ryan. Don't miss you guys, the other guys, as much, because, you know, I see y'all still. But, you know. Okay, bye.